Hello, I am Radagast at your service. So tonight is, what was that? Dynamic Personal Dogma, flexibility, whatever. I forget what after it. And but I would like to make a mention. Ron Van Dyke put out a video tonight. Would have gone up on the 15th at 5 o'clock, and it was just one of the best pieces of wisdom and warmth. It was just astounding. And another category that I really want to go into here a little bit before I get into the dynamic personal dogma is meditation, because I knew I had made a video in a few days. My scheduling and certain energetic situations have just left me unable to do so. So I finally decided tonight would be it, and I got myself a little bit of a focus with the title, and then I go into meditations around it, and then ideas come up and distillate, points, and I write them down, and then I can proceed from that. But often this is a couple of hours process from a seed idea, meditating around it. And so the reason I'm even bringing this up is because of the word meditation. I've seen people write in posts, I've never been able to meditate. Okay, I've never been able to meditate in my life. So as usual, I think definitions are very helpful. I'm quite sure if Ron and I, because Ron does meditations for his videos also, and I'm quite sure if we compared notes about what we called our meditation, they might be different. I tend to use a few forms of what I would call meditation. Some of the words for meditation to me that are almost synonymous with what for me is meditation. Now, I'm not talking about transcendental meditation, which is a specific kind of meditation. I'm talking about the kind of meditation where you are using your mind in a constructive fashion to get good results for personal growth out of the use of your mind. So I had meditation, trance, and thinking daydreams. Much of my trance states are wide open. My eyes are wide open, and part of that is because I tend to, from my 3D awareness, expand it into more awareness. I don't really. I feel very comfortable, and I feel quite grounded and very Gaian. Staying in my 3D awareness as I expand that. So it's kind of like, you grow from 3 feet tall to 3.5 or 4 feet, depending on what you need to access. So for me, trance states are a state that you kind of set your mind. And it's that setting of the mind that to me is what all meditation is. Even if it's transcendental meditation, I guess you have a personal mantra or a sound, and the goal there is quiet. I find it's a lot easier for me to obtain some quiet in my mind when I take care of some of the pressing issues. And rather than trying not to deal with them, I feel that my meditations are best served by digging into them. Getting quiet enough. Of course, you have to get quiet, but you get quiet. You focus on your breathing because it gives you focus, if that helps you. But I really feel that freeing meditation from thinking I can't meditate because I can never empty my mind. I can't get that place of just quietness. And after experimenting with it, even though I got it, I found it. I don't know. I found the kinds of meditations that I was doing, and what I started off early on was making sure I went to bed before I was tired. And I called it giving. As we know, we have something we call monkey mind, and that's all that chatter in there. And of course, we have all kinds of metaphysical reasons, plus also our own undealt with, very organic, unresolved issues, and just things we think about. So you have all this, what I call monkey mind. So what I termed it in my own thing, especially when I was speaking with people and trying to share it with them, was giving the monkey something to do, something constructive to do. And so, since very often one of the reasons we have trouble with what quote unquote meditation is monkey mind, so what I would do is say, okay, here's what we're going to do with the mind. I'm going to work with it, working with my chakras, working with a really nice, vibrant, inner lit red, getting the color right, and then once that's right, moving up and creating a good orange, and also examining sometimes examining the state of consciousness in there, but sometimes just keeping it real simple, just developing that color. And sometimes you find it's not so easy to develop the color. Once you develop the color, you might see stuff, little blotches and things. It's nice. That's a nice way to to help clear also. But one of the ways you can clear is just if you see something there, just imagine it until they're nice. I like a nice seething lava red myself. Then orange, and then the yellow and the green, but not staying at each station until I kind of held it and felt like it was a nice coherent, and moving on up. And sometimes in the focus of the coherency, a lot of times I didn't get to the top chakra. I would fall asleep in the process, which to me was a job well done, because I didn't spend going to sleep with monkey mind. I went to going to sleep doing something very constructive as far as energizing myself. So I feel, and then there's meditation. Another meditation is to take an idea and start playing with it. Like you have like I have these things I'm playing around, but I'm not connecting the dots. So then I like connecting the dot meditations, where you take facts and you kind of do it a left brain way, but you play with them enough. And if you let go of that tight grip that we sometimes do with linear thought, you find that you actually kind of bridge, and you're now thinking in parallel, and the right brain is contributing. But it's not like so much like of a dialogue as they're finally operating the way they do, where the linear dots are presented by the linear mind, and then the holistic mind fills that in. And that's a huge way of getting insights, especially to things you're trying to understand deeper. You only have a few facts. Playing with those facts, stretching them out a little bit, really getting mobile with them, can bring enormous insight. And then sometimes some of those insights are transitional. You get an insight to something you're thinking on, you think, oh, aha, this, but that's led me to this. And then you go a little deeper, and you realize the transitional thought was simply transitional, and a degraded thought no longer contains a transitional thought. So that would kind of almost bring us into the concept of dynamic personal dogma. And for what I'm calling dynamic means that it's in motion, it's responding to its data stream, its environment, which sometimes is a data stream. So the whole idea of having a dynamic personal dogma is because you take your beliefs and you spend enough time with them to have how they work for you at this particular time in your understanding. And so you kind of say, this is my story, and I'm sticking to it until I get the next fact that changes it. But it gets you out of like, oh, I believe this, I believe that, I believe this. It's kind of like, no, this is where I stand at the moment. And I am certainly willing to present it, because if I haven't seen any holes, but you see holes, and please present them to me. Now, sometimes when you offer yourself up to examination, I sometimes feel some people chime in, and it's a little more projection than actual observation. But usually you'll get a good observation is very useful, so it's good to be open to it. But the whole idea is that just because somebody, if somebody challenges your dynamic temporary personal dogma, you see how it works. And this way here, you're not left so confusing. You can also leave that piece float and go, you know what, I can't find a way to integrate it, and it's certainly not going to replace it with something that's my current personal dynamic dogma. But I can always hold this and see if after some other pieces or one new piece kind of fits with this new piece, and then together they look like they fit. So it's this really way of using your mind in a very dynamic, facile way, and really just kind of having the personal dignity to examine what you call beliefs and getting them assembled enough where they have some form, they have some roots in what is meaningful for you. and then being and not being attached to it. The whole thing is, I mean, again, you call it yours, you love it, but it's almost like I'm a guitar player and songwriter. So the original raw song is, this is my song, and it has this. But the more you play it, maybe you hear some other things, and all of a sudden you're adding to it. So it's, or you might have said, oh my, you take out a part completely, and you write another part that fits it better, is more coherent, makes the song sound like you kind of heard it, but just couldn't get a certain part. So that's the whole, but still the original idea, the original dogma of the song is there, unless you scrap a whole song. This is all, again, what's relevant to you, what has meaning, and the whole idea of the personal dogma is to, again, take responsibility for your quote beliefs and give them some solidity by having spent some time with anything you're considering. Own what you currently hold as your explanation for reality, or how the world works, whatever that definition is. But again, not being attached to it, owning it, but not owning it in the shape that it's in. Always being willing to be flexible. What am I doing on time? Not too bad. And avoiding reality boxes, because part of a reality box is you hear an idea and it kind of comes in a box, and you just take the box in. And so that's sometimes what we have in the form of beliefs, are a lot of stacked boxes that haven't been, I like the term, unpacked. To unpack an idea is to take it out of its reality box. And a lot of times reality boxes are based on, the old polarity thinking. Again, thinking too extremely, not realizing the dance between the polarities. So not having your dogma is not a reality box. It's more of a dynamic form. We got meditation, and judgment kind of comes into all of this too. But the word judgment cannot be placed as the absolute severe form of it. There's a saying, "Judge not, lest ye be judged." And I totally agree with that on both sides. If you don't want to be judged, do not judge. If you do judge, in a really meaningful way, in other words, to help, or also sometimes just sizing somebody up, because we're always told to trust our gut. But of course, whenever our gut's doing things, those are called feelings, not emotions. Whenever our gut's doing something, we really owe ourselves due diligence to, maybe not in the moment, but let's say you meet somebody and I don't know, I'm getting a little funny feeling there. Don't leave it at funny feeling. After you disengage and you've had a sense of the person, and you have this little judgment and someone's not feeling right, find out what that feeling is. Again, don't have an emotion about it. Find out what that feeling is, and find out what that feeling is about, and then find out what it's attached to. And then you start getting clarity on these things. And instead of you have the, again, mobile judgment, where even if you're going, this person's giving me a little bit of the willies here, you go, but you know what? Okay, I acknowledge that's how I feel, but it's not a judgment, but it's how I've judged. I judge these feelings, and I'm kind of putting this together. But again, make it dynamic. Don't hold that judgment filter over the person. Put it aside. No, you have it. Don't grant your feelings the validity of why you have it. But I said examine it for the validity, because it might be just some issue you have, and then you have clarity about that, and then you can you make it things all right with yourself, and next time you see the person in a different light. But again, even when you're looking at them and you have this feeling, hold it aside, and because you're going to have to examine why you had that feeling, and listen to the person, and always get just get a sense of them, and then do not fear any judgment you have, as long as it's mobile and it's not holding somebody in a box. Trust your gut feeling. Don't have attachment. Dynamic dogma. It's a lot of that dynamic dogma comes to being comfortable enough with yourself. And if you have done due diligence with your belief system, your dynamic dogma, that gives you like, in other words, if somebody critiques you, but you're still good with it, you're going to look at it. You might take the critique, but you don't feel assaulted. You feel pulled at, and it's okay, good. He's testing the fabric. That's all right. As long as again, there's differences between people who are testing the fabric and some dog that's just sitting there snarling because it's not in a good mood, or it just has an issue with you. So, 15 minutes. I think I like this. I think I like that. There is one thing that when Ron was speaking, he was talking about mother and father and male and female, and I do remember something that really clicked for me many years ago was the two words in Latin for mother and father, which could also be seen as masculine and feminine. And so they are mater, M-A-T-E-R, and pater, P-A-T-E-R. And my aha with them was in pater, or this masculine energy, or we may call it the yang energy. In pater, I saw the word pattern, the idea, the conceptual construct. And in mater, you see matter. And then you see the dance of the pattern that is first in a non-physical way, and then in that cosmic dance love of the mating, you see matter then fills in to the pattern, and those patterns become what we call reality. So I always, that's one thing I always try to remember. Matter is mother, okay? Mater, mother and mater, or the feminine or the yin. And pater, or the yang or masculine, is the pattern, the kind of like where ideas get constructed in that very rarefied air. That's why the yang is considered spiritual, because it's not physical. The whole concept is not physical. It just holds an idea. It's almost like it's a blueprint. So a blueprint is there, and the blueprint is created usually and always with input. And very often it could even be the matter, with its own concepts. And then, of course, pattern says, oh, let me take that and I'll form this for you. And then it goes, oh, yes, very beautiful. Let me flow into that, and it becomes something. So that's mater and pater. And I think that'll be good for tonight. All right? So before all else, I see the God within you.